First syllable of Mary or Maria.
Maria.
In an ideal world, a Chinese character always has a building block on the left and a building block on the right. Maria.
Maria.
The building block on the right gives us the pronunciation of the overall character, and the bit on the left is a Cluedo-style hint as to the meaning of the character. So, for example, this character is pronounced like horse. So if we know horse, we can pronounce this character. Whereas horse?
Horse.
This is horse. Now let's see how to pronounce horse.
Mama, mama, horsey. A horse!
Ma. Horse.
And there we have it. So ma is horse. So when we go back to
First syllable of Mary or Maria.
Maria.
we can see why ma would be inserted here as the pronunciation hint. This is pronounced ma from Malia or Mali for Mary. And the bit on the left is a category style clue as to the overall meaning of the character. Names in Chinese are spelt or sounded out using existing characters, often antiquated ones that aren't necessarily used a lot. This king represents this king. Gives it a clue. This is some type of crystal. It's a quartzite. It's agate. Not used a lot in common conversation. It's a pretty antiquated character, but it's used heavily to sound out Mary or Maria, or any Western names with this. This is also pronounced ma. We have the horse on the right, and this clue on the left gives us an indication that this is some type of undomesticated animal or something to do with the actions of undomesticated animals.
Mammoth.
So we have mammoth. Mammoth in Chinese is also ma. So this is ma, means agate or quartz. This is ma, mammoth. We have this is something to do with women or a woman.
Mother.
Mama.
Mother is also pronounced ma. Horse is pronounced ma. Now, here, this little category clue hint, when we see a mouth, Chinese actually have to speak their intonation because they essentially say what they have to say using their emojis, and then at the very end they have to add an emoji to say, hey, everything I just said was a question. So here is
a spoken question mark.
Huh? What? Huh?
We've probably all heard this ma in the context of ni hao ma. Ni hao are the two emojis that mean you and good. So when you say you good question mark, you're essentially saying, are you good? Okay? So all of these are ma. Here's another ma.
Code or numeral.
Now, these little Cluedo hints are often a little bit too antiquated. So, for example, this means a rock. Now, they used to count with jade bead abacuses in China. And to count up codes or numerals, they would use these little bead stone abacuses. But they no longer do. So this hint is quite antiquated. So these hints, because of watersheds in the history and changes in the history of the language, they work about 60% of the time. Whereas the pronunciation hints work about 40% of the time. Okay, which isn't great, but it's not the worst thing in the world. It can really help you speed up your assimilation of Chinese characters. So, for example, all of these characters are ma, and if we can understand what the category clue hint is hinting towards, what this Cluedo-style hint is hinting towards, we're onto a winner. We can remember, where is mammoth?
Mammoth.
Where is Maria?
First syllable of Mary or Maria.
Where is the code or numeral?
Code.
Where is mother?
Mother.
Where is the question mark?
A spoken question mark.
And so on. And we know they're all pronounced ma.
Horse.
Now, spot the ones that are not pronounced ma. These two. Because horse is not on the right. It's actually on the left. So these two actually have something to do with horse. And with this one, if we knew how to pronounce this building block, which is owner, we would understand exactly how to pronounce this character. And on this, if we understand how to pronounce this building block on the right, we would have at least a good stab as to how to pronounce this character. So this one is
Test or inspect.
given you have to commonly test or inspect a horse's hooves for inflammation or swelling, and
Stationed somewhere, perhaps as a reporter or soldier.
previously when armies rode into battle on horses, they had to station their horses somewhere. So this hint, this Cluedo style hint, is a little antiquated also. But that's essentially how Chinese works in the ideal world. The bit on the right gives you the pronunciation, the bit on the left gives a Cluedo style hint as to the meaning.
So this character is pronounced
Maria.
Ma, and it has a tenuous link to king. Whereas this character is pronounced exactly like the character for owner, and then it actually has something to do with horses. One problem is that Chinese characters don't all come in a left-right structure.
This
It's
is
often impossible to tell which is the pronunciation hint and which is the category clue hint as to meaning.
This is the real problem. So when you look at Chinese text, this is what in an ideal world you would see. You would have a left side and a right side. The right side would always be the pronunciation of the character. So all you would have to know is that building block, how to say it, and you would understand how to pronounce the entire character. And the left side would be your Cluedo hint. Now, that system doesn't always work. It's not perfect. But this is the real issue, that not all Chinese characters have this left-right structure. I think they're in the majority, but you get these, you get this kind of structure, and it's not always clear which is the pronunciation hint and which is the hint as to meaning.
Another problem, not all the visual building blocks have names, even in Chinese.
This is another issue in that because of watersheds in the history of the language, they've changed some of the design elements, and some of these building blocks don't have names, not even in Chinese, so they're basically unreferenceable. So we're trying to fix that by essentially giving them names, having a finite set of visual building blocks and giving them very friendly Western names that you can use to identify them. It doesn't help you from this perspective in terms of pronunciation and meaning, but at least it allows you to cognitively recognize a visual building block and see it across a sequence of Chinese characters. So you're effectively re-leveraging that previously learned knowledge, and you can see how common it is.
We're fixing that. And a third is that the system is pretty hit and miss.
So this pronunciation system works about 40% of the time, and the Cluedo style hints work about 60% of the time, which isn't the worst. It's pretty terrible, but it's not the worst, and it can really speed up your acquisition of Chinese language.
So that's essentially how the Chinese writing system works, and how Western names are written in Chinese. If you'd like to know more, reach out to us on newbiechinese.com. Link below. 再见。